Hi, everyone. This is Hal Crosman with ScreenwritingU. And tonight we're going to be demoing a couple of sites that I think do belong in the future of screenwriting. These two sites are going to change a lot of things for your ability to get amazing scripts done. Now, as we do this, I'm going to be kind of casual on this, just taking you through the demonstration so you can see how it works. This isn't like a full-blown presentation. It's just something that'll get you through so you know what these two are about. So first, we'll demonstrate Screenplay Feedback.ai. This site, its whole purpose is to give you feedback on your scripts, your characters, your structures, your scenes, and pretty much anything else that you need. And you'll see when we get there, we didn't look at this solely from a perspective of getting feedback on full scripts, but also on how could you make the key components absolutely great. Then we'll go to screenwritingmastery.ai. This is the site that is where we're going to house all of our professional level classes in the future. And we've already got a whole bunch of them up there. But this will give you professional level screenwriting and TV skills. And with each lesson, this is something you're getting that you can't get anyplace else. You will get instant feedback. Now, why does that matter? I've been told by the people who have already gone through it, and I've had the same experience, that it's actually kind of a profound experience. If you create something and you get instant feedback that is both positive and healthy and points to where you can improve, it makes a significant difference for who you are as a creator. It's like you're not waiting for a day or a week or a month for somebody to give you feedback on the thing. Instead, you are getting it while it's still fresh in your mind, and that's actually an incredible experience. That you got to have. So let's see. Yeah, let me take you there right now, and we'll start. Let's just a moment here. Yeah, we'll start over here. There we are. So this is the Screenplay feedback site. You'll see there, its purpose is to give you instant feedback within a minute or a couple of minutes on your screenplays, your TV writing, any project that you're working on. It also can give you instant feedback if you're trying to figure out your characters and things like that. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. But essentially, what you do is you go up here and you sign in. If you've never done it before, you hit click Get Started today, and that'll take you through the sign-in process. If you have been through this, or if you already have a membership and you're doing this, then you go straight to sign in. You click that, and that will take you, well, it'll actually take you to the front page, but then from there you go to your dashboard. You click dashboard. So this is what my dashboard looks like, just so you know. Once you're on the inside, this is where you go to. You have all the things listed over here on the left that you need. Makes it pretty easy. When you want to get feedback, you just click Get Feedback, and that pulls up all the different feedback possibilities at the present moment. So let me go back to this. You also can click on your sessions, and it takes you back in so you can go see any of the sessions you've already done. You'll notice I've done a lot of them. I don't know how many there are here, but we've tested this thing to the nth degree. It also, for any scripts that you leave in here, you can remove them, by the way, but any of the scripts that you leave in here, they're already up there, so you can get them whenever you want. And that makes it really easy. So let's go back for a moment. When you're here, this will show you your latest sessions. It'll show you your last scripts. whatever your current plan is, and then your limits. Now, I have a diamond plan, which is not available to people yet, that gives me a lot of different levels of feedback, but we'll deal with that in just a couple minutes. So first, let's go and get feedback. Now, when you're here, and again, all you had to do was sign in, hit dashboard, and then click get feedback. It's really, we tried to make it so easy. I really don't like sites where you have to spend a day trying to figure out what you're supposed to do to get what you want. So we spent a lot of effort on this. At the top is the full script feedbacks. So this means you're either going to do a feature screenplay, a TV pilot, a TV episode, or you can get TV Bible feedback here, right? So those things where you've got a project already completed or on a third draft or fourth or something like that, and you want to get feedback on it immediately to improve, you use these. Then these script components, these are our secret weapon. Let's say you're getting, feature screenplay feedback. You'll see when I show you the example of this, you'll see it gives you, I think, like 7 or 8 different major categories. It goes into detail on a bunch of things, but like any other feedback, no matter who you get it from, unless they're doing line by line, there's a lot of details that are missing. So this gives you an overall picture. It actually points to some very specific things, but at the same time, we can make it so much stronger just simply going down here. So here's what this does. Your script component feedbacks point to specific things. So you can load up, your characters, for instance, and you can go in and present, here's the characters, here's my description of them, here's what I think of them. If you created a profile, you put that in, all of that kind of thing, and it'll give you feedback on that, on your characters specifically. You can load up your structure. It'll do the same thing. You can load up your outline, and it'll give you feedback on your outline or your scenes. I'm going to do an opening scene for you so you can see how that works. But we have some other things down here. Elevate the scene interest level. So this does something pretty interesting. You can load up 2 scenes at a time, and it'll go through and give you ideas on how you could take that same scene and build 3 different interest techniques into it to make it as interesting as possible. It will actually give you a beginning, the opening of the scene interest technique, a middle interest technique, and a final, how the scene ends interest technique. So the 3 most important parts of your scene are all built around interest. So that's pretty powerful. You just take your most important scenes and run through that. There's also episode structure, this one, so you can, if you're doing a TV episode or a pilot, you can check your structure. Protagonist versus antagonist. I have an example of this, so maybe I'll show you on that. You take your 2 lead characters who, when we create them, they're often separate. A lot of times you've created your protagonist in the very beginning and you tried to figure out your journey and all of those kinds of things. And then somewhere along the way, you created your antagonist. I've seen lots of people's drafts where even on their second or third draft, they hadn't fleshed out their antagonist. But once you have them even slightly fleshed out, the question is, what's the relationship between the 2? And how can the protagonist be stronger for this story and the antagonist be more villainous? So this one's really interesting. And again, I've got an example, so I'll just show you the example. Let's see. Down here, elevate the character and the journey. So here you put in your protagonist and you put in your journey, what the story is about. And you look to see how can you elevate those 2, making the journey as difficult as possible for that lead character and making the character perfect for the journey. This kind of thing makes a big difference in the quality of the read. And then we also have a TV episode outline. So you can look at if you've got a pilot, if you've got an episode that you're doing, you can put in the outline of that episode and get feedback based on that. And this is pretty high level. You'll see when you get to that. But let's go here. Just a moment here. Still more people coming in. This will basically show you just really how easy this is. Yeah. So what we're doing here is I'm going to put in an opening scene and we're going to get feedback on it. Now, let me just kind of take you through this step by step so you can see. You just simply list things that you already know the answers to. So my opening scene, I have a title. I'm just going to call it Space for the moment. And later on that'll change, but it doesn't matter. This is a sci-fi. This is a sci-fi thriller. Here's the concept. There's my concept. Now, let me step away from this just for a second, and I'll show you what I'm doing over here. So I just go over to Final Draft, whatever software you're using, right? And copy it. There's the scene. People are still coming in and it's messing with me here. Just a second. Okay. And then let's take it back over here. All right. And now you just input that scene. That's it. So this one again, it's going to take about a minute and a half. But first, you'll notice here's my answers. Here's my title. Here's my genre. Here's my concept. The scene, when it goes into AI, everything goes like that. This says it'll take about 2 minutes, but we'll see in just a second here. And as you're looking at that and wondering, our objective on all of these is to do what we can to make this as easy as possible for you to take any project you've created to a whole different level. So here's my feedback. You saw how long it took. It took about, what, like a minute and a half, plus or minus. It just depends on the traffic that's going on in the AI world. Everything that we've designed into this is unique. It is specific to our site. This is something that we have spent 6 months training this site so that it knows and understands screenwriting at a high level. We didn't then train, by the way, all the other AIs out there. It's just this specific place. So here's the feedback. First thing, it's going to go through each one of these parts and tell me what I did well or what worked and that kind of thing. So it's going to start focusing on what I did well. And then down here, it'll give me ideas for improvement for this opening scene, right? This one, it started out as a really bad opening scene. It was just something I was doing a high-speed write, and I probably wrote it in 3 minutes. And I put it in, got feedback on it one time, rewrote it, got feedback on it a second time. This is the third time. So it says the opening scene effectively matches the sci-fi genre. Yeah, we get the characters, they're engaging. Structure, clear middle or beginning, middle, and end. Good. It tells what that is. Challenging. Does it challenge? Yes, it challenges the lead character when she notices a malfunction in the ship. This is something that's taken place out in space. Does the scene? Yes, it does. It successfully expresses the main character's personalities, so that's good. Then we do have action, not much, but we have a little bit of action in there. The dialogue feels authentic for the characters and it's entertaining. Good. Uh, Interest. The scene is interesting due to a combination of the live broadcast, the interpersonal dynamics, and the sudden appearance of basically the aliens there. It does have some depth, excellent, and it does fit the sci-fi thriller genre, perfect. Now let's go look at the improvement. So improvement, structure. Consider starting the scene with a hint of the valve malfunction. Maybe that might be a good idea. That might create more tension and suspense there. Provide a bit more background on the astronauts through their dialogue. Okay, possible. Depth, introduce more subtext in the characters' interactions. Okay, all right. See, it's like what I did on the last one was I took every one of these, I printed it out, I put it right next to my screen, and I went through and made like 5 of the 7 improvements. I think it's got, what has it got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7 here. So I made 5 of the 7 improvements. That improved it quite a bit. I'm going to go through and do all of these. But here's the thing to know. In a minute and a half, I just found out, with a minute and a half work, I just found out what things are working well and what things could be improved on this scene that is by far one of the most important scenes in the entire script. Your opening scene, and especially if it's like a teaser for a TV pilot, may be one of the most important scenes you ever write, because it's when the producer or the reader decides if you're worth taking a risk on. If they've never seen you before, when they read your opening scene, they're going to make a decision about who you are as a writer. And they can't help it, by the way. It's not something this industry does that's bad. They have read 5,000 scripts, and they're trying to decide up front, is this worth me reading? So, anytime I've ever submitted something when we were producing, I made sure the opening scene was the best writing that writer had ever done. So this has made, already it's improved my scene from draft 1 to 3 by 100%. I'm going to guess this will improve it another 50%, and it'll be a pretty badass scene. Okay, let's go back and let's do a different one so you can see this. I'm going to use a script that a friend of mine wrote. So just a moment. So all you do is you click get feedback, right? And this is for a screenplay. And with a screenplay, by the way, you're going to upload it. So that means it needs to be in a PDF file that is not encrypted. If you upload something that's encrypted, the AI won't be able to read it, which will mean it'll shut down basically your whole membership. So just please don't do that. We always have to go back in and fix it when somebody does that. Just make sure that you don't have it password protected or that kind of thing. Here, our AIs it's safe. You don't have to worry about it. It is, since we are paying for all the AI work and everything else that happens, and it's on an API, this is not stuff that's used to train AI. So you load it up, you fill in all the blanks. When you're done, if you want to delete it, you absolutely can go in. You'll just go to my scripts or your scripts, and then click remove. But let's fill in some blanks here, and we'll do one. Just a second. So there's a concept. There's that protagonist. And by the way, you know all the answers to all these questions. So these are all things you know. You don't have to spend any time. You know who your protagonist is. You know who your antagonist is. Uh, you know who it was written by, you know, and you know the title and all the other kinds of things here. Just a moment. So let's go upload. There's the script. We're going to upload it and click get feedback. So the first thing it does every time is it gives, here's the questions that you have asked, and then it lets you know it's going to be a couple of minutes. And depending on the script, it could be anything from, and the traffic that's going on out there, it could be anything from 2 to 4 or 5 minutes. So while that is happening, let's go take a look at a couple of other things. Yeah. Okay. Just a moment. Let's go here. This is the one I told you I was going to tell you about, and we'll come back to that in a couple of minutes when the feedback comes up. Protagonist versus antagonist. I think this one's just incredibly interesting. I was talking with a guy at one of the studios who takes pitches. He's a producer who takes pitches. And one of the things he said is, he goes, you know, he says, I see a lot of projects where the protagonist and the antagonist seem like they're in a different world, or there's nothing really going on between them besides the obvious conflict. So he says, I want to see depth between those two. So we came back and created a whole new way of doing this. So here's what I want you to see, the kind of feedback that it gave. What I did on this one was I entered the profile for the protagonist. This was her profile. And then I entered the profile for the antagonist. This was his profile. Now, I've got some pretty complex profiles on that, but you could also just enter a summary for both of them, you know? And as long as you have a clear idea of, you know, who your protagonist is, who your antagonist is, and what the concept of the story is, you can do this. So you could do this before you even write draft 1, or you could do this after you've written draft 10. Either way. But here's what it shows. On the version that I have up above, and you saw those were pretty complex. That was a pretty complex profile. It's like 15 different items. It says I have a complex protagonist. Okay, so it likes my protagonist. It says I have an antagonist with depth. Again, we built that in. I totally agree in those cases. It says that there's personal stakes between these two, which is important. That means that the conflict is personal, and these two are going to be going at each other. They have hidden agendas and secrets. This is all stuff we built in. You know, they have emotional triggers. This one was surprising to me. I hadn't thought of it that way. There's clever tactics and deception between these two characters. And by the way, it hasn't read my script. All it's done is looked at the profiles between the two. And resourcefulness and expertise. Now, look at this. So, wow, we have a lot of ideas for improvement. So this is going to be amazing. Here's what you know when you have a lot of ideas for improvement. You know, first, whatever you did triggered a lot of stuff. Second, you get to go through and you get to look at all those ideas for improvement. And here we have 10. The AI's job is to give you between 3 to 10 on this particular one. So 10 means, wow, I could really make a big difference. So, and I'll tell you, I got to tell you the truth. When I created these two characters, I created one on one day and one about 3 weeks later. I didn't figure out who the antagonist was in this project. I thought it was someone else. So 3 weeks later, I created the second, the antagonist. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm realizing I didn't compare the two at all. I never even thought about that. I was just trying to make the antagonist the best I could for the project. So this totally makes sense. So if you see a lot of ideas for improvement, that's a good thing. That means those two characters and their relationship and how an audience experiences them is going to come off in a really powerful way once you've made the improvements. Second thing to know is I may have 10 improvements listed here, but I'm the writer. So in that case, I would look at each one and really think about them and look to see, is there something I can do with that? Will it really make a difference? Is it the best decision? And then I make my decision. So out of these 10, I might choose 3 or 5 or 8, or I might do them all. You do what's best for you. Also, please know the ideas for improvement are not criticisms of your work. This is in whatever draft you're in, this is where you might be. And the job is just simply to look through and see what will benefit you. So to me, when it gives ideas for improvement, this is a really positive experience. Now, let me just look. Amplify the moral dilemmas. Yeah, well, I absolutely agree with this one. I need to make this so that she's having to basically choose between saving humanity and keeping her husband. That's an interesting idea. Expose vulnerabilities. All right. I think my antagonist, I don't have very many vulnerabilities with this guy. So that I automatically know that one's probably going to be something I'm going to do. Increase direct confrontations. Okay, these two are going to have direct confrontations. I don't know. It hasn't seen the script, so it doesn't know how many. But I could look at the actual who they are as characters and see how could we do this? How could we increase the tension and have the exchanges be more emotional between them? So that's valuable to me. Expand the alien motives. So the antagonist is an alien who is disguised as a human, basically. Provide more insights into their motives. Okay, that might be valuable. Okay, let's go on. Introduce a third faction. So right now we only have 2. This might be an idea for the story. I'll think about it. Develop side characters. I don't think that has anything to do with this. Showcase technological and alien abilities. I don't think I listed alien abilities for him, so that might be a good idea. Amelia needs to be more covert. That's an interesting thought. Mark's ruthlessness. So he needs to show up as more ruthless. All right. Okay. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how that whole thing works. Now that we did all that, let's go back to our full script feedback. Just a moment here. Yeah. No, up there. Here. Okay. So remember this was a script. It was a comedy. We're getting feedback. Here's the answer. Here's the feedback that it gave. Which I think, yeah. So let me just walk you through it so you can just see kind of the basics. First, it starts out at the top, and this is about, first it's going to clarify what your concept is, what the main conflict is. Now remember, it's getting this from reading the script, and it's making a list of potential improvements. And I would really look at those and think about them. But I'd also check this, because this tells you it read your story. So now then we go to the lead characters, and you'll notice we have the character name, their role in the story, their core traits, their motivation, their flaw and their wound, their hidden agenda and secret, their internal dilemma. And let me pause. I didn't give them this information. This is in the script. So what the AI did was read everything this character did and created a profile for it. Now, that just in itself is really valuable. And if you look through and you go, well, I don't think the motivation was this, then it's like, all right, maybe that means you need to highlight that motivation. You need to make it stronger, more clear, whatever it is. But right off the bat, this is giving you a profile that you can start to work with to elevate your characters anyway. Then it gives you at the end of each one of them some ideas for improvement. I would really take a look at those. Here's the second character. This is the antagonist. And the same kind of profile. And finally, ideas for improvement. If you haven't created profiles, by the way, this is going to be invaluable information for you because it'll give you a chance to look at your characters through a whole different light. Did I deliver on each of these important key components of a character? Then it gives us a 3-act structure. And again, it gives us improvement. So it's looking at the script and it's telling you this is what it sees as your structure. If you haven't worked a lot with structure, I would really be paying attention to what it says. Anytime you think it got it wrong, that would be really actually a point for possible improvement in your script. A lot of times I'll have producers say they read something and they go, wow, I liked their dialogue, but the structure didn't work. And this is a chance to solve that and know for sure that you got it right. Then it gives you some ideas for improvement again here. Put those in your structure. The read of the script. This tells you, does it deliver on the main purpose, which is incredibly important? Does your script tell the story that your concept presented in the beginning? And your concept a lot of times is what you pitch to the producer. When they ask you for, like, if they say, hey, I only got a minute, or if it's something where they're not really sure they're accepting a pitch and you just kind of blurt out your concept, that's what sells them on reading your script. So it needs to deliver on that concept powerfully. So I would be paying attention to this. The read again, does it have suspense and anticipation? How is the flow? And then, of course, any ideas for improvement. Then quality of the scenes. So it's telling you what makes your scenes excellent, what makes them not work, all that kind of thing. It gives ideas for improvement there. Dialogue. Now, okay, it says a significant portion of the dialogue reflects on the characters' profiles. Well done. The writer did an excellent job. Best lines of dialogue that showcase that. Small percentage of the dialogue feels generic. That would be a worthwhile thing to go through and take a look at and see if there are any generic lines, especially from your lead characters. And then again, it has ideas for improvement. Description, same kind of thing. Yeah, so, and ideas for improvement. And then finally, it gives you some comps. Here are some comps that fit this. This is kind of important. When you're pitching, often producers will either ask you for comps, or if you have a really good example of one that was successful, and you could say, this is like Legally Blonde, except with bikers, or whatever it is. And in the end, then it gives you a list of recommended improvements. So this is like a summary to make sure that you had a chance to really consider each one. What I would do when I get this kind of feedback is I would read through it first to see, what do you agree with, right? What in there do you go, okay, I nailed it. I did a great job, right? Take in that validation. And then second, as you're reading through it, then I would take all the ideas for improvement that you agree with. Like, let's say you agree with the first 3 of these, but not the others. I'd take all of those, move them over to an email, brainstorm some ideas, and go back and do a rewrite. And actually, even though there's 8 ideas for improvement here, there's quite a few others that are listed in the specific areas. Now, again, what this does is this gives you a chance to pick the one you want, get exact feedback on that, Once you've done that, then here's what I recommend. Like, let's say the script we were just talking about. There were certain things that it recommended that were changed. There were some structure things, some structure problems that it suggested were changed. You might go in here and enter just your structure and get exact feedback on that structure. If you have outline issues, if you need to re-outline the thing or those kinds of things, if your protagonist and antagonist aren't really truly the perfect ones for this story, go use this. If there were scenes that needed more interest built in, I would use this one. But what this does is it gives you a chance to look at the feedback you got and then get really specific with one of these script components. Now, let me show you how to sign up for this, for those of you who want to do so. Really simple. You go to the front page, the home page, it's screenplayfeedback.ai, and just go all the way to the bottom, and there's three possible versions. If all you want is feedback on just one script and two script components, if you're getting ready for a contest right now or something like that, or if you're taking your script in to a producer or something, I'd say this would be a worthwhile thing. For $15, you can get the same kind of feedback as you get from most script consultants that charge between $100 and $200. And it's instant here. You don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. If you're more serious about feedback and you're thinking, you know what, I'd really like to go through the process over and over and over with one script, or I have 3 scripts I would like to do it, then sign up for one of our monthly programs. This, on the bronze one, for $30, which is twice the price of this one, you get 3 script feedbacks instead of 2, and you get 5 script components. So this, I would say, if you're thinking about, like, if you really want to win a contest, our AI does not rewrite your project, just to be clear. All it does here is give you feedback. So it fits the rules of all the main contests that I've seen. And, if you would really want to win a contest, I would say sign up for this, go through and do 3 script feedbacks on the same script. Get feedback, rewrite it, get feedback, rewrite it, use however many script components you need to make that opening scene, your character introductions, your structure, whatever, absolutely great. Do that 3 times. And at the end of that 1 month, what you've got is you've got a script that is 50 to 100% better. You have considered all kinds of things you wouldn't have considered. It'll make a huge difference. Now, if you're really thinking about turning pro at some point, and let's say you want to get a manager, or you want to end up having a producer make your movie and that kind of thing, I'd say go to the silver one. That gives you 6 full script feedbacks, 10 script components. And if you just took one script and you went through this process before going to a manager, what you've got is you've got a script that's going to be incredible. You will have improved it over and over and over again in big ways. By the time you're done with that, any manager that looks at that script is going to go, wow, this writer's amazing. So consider that. Also, if you have a lot of scripts, like let's say you've written 8 screenplays, you could go through and yes, you can get a script or you can get feedback on each one, but I would say you'd be better off writing, rewriting while you're in the mode. So take one script through 3 feedbacks and another script through 3. Do that 2 scripts a month. 3-4 months from now, you have 8 scripts that are truly incredible. All you got to do then is just go through the process, click buy now, and you're in. So that's that one. Let me take you to the next. So that's Screenplay Feedback. Its whole purpose is to give you this experience of being able to get feedback whenever you want, without having to wait, without having a grumpy feedback source, without worrying about whether or not the feedback's going to be professional or not, or whether it's going to send you in a whole bunch of incorrect places. It's high level feedback. We trained this with a professional level model. We have writers right now that are working with producers that absolutely love this feedback. Now, let me take you to the other one. Just a moment here. Okay. So this one, we were looking at how do we make sure that people have a chance to learn as fast as they can and in a deep way. So we created Screenwriting Mastery, and this is essentially a membership that allows you to go through our high-level classes with AI feedback. So here's what I want to show you. Just a second, actually. Hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta find one more screen and then I'll show you this. Just a moment. There we go. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Thanks for your patience on that. All right. So we started here. So this is screenwritingmastery.ai. Here's what it looks like on the inside. It's a whole membership that has all of our classes and lots of videos and those kinds of things. But the big thing is, first, you're getting classes for about a third the price. And second, you're going to get AI feedback. So it starts with a bunch of 10-day classes. You just look to see what do you need there. We have our 30-day classes, which is our genre classes. If you need to write a thriller, we got an incredible model for that. If you're writing action or horror or a profound script, all of those. If you want to learn how to get paid writing assignments, we've got a model for that. That is the only model I know of that's being taught out there that actually came from, I did a whole series of interviews with producers and then with A-list screenwriters and then with writers just like you who are getting paid writing assignments. So you'll love that. And then we have our intensive classes. Now, I'm going to present to you two different possible ways to pay for this. The first one is if you're doing just the 30-day classes and 10-day classes, that one's $49 a month. Those classes normally go between $150 to $300. But if you want to do the intensive classes, which these are our 5-6 month long classes, and this is our highest level models. This one for TV, this one for features, and this one for doing professional rewrites. If you want to do those, it's $79 a month. This particular class, this one's $12.99, this one's $12.99, $1,299, just so you know. This one's $350. So for $79 a month, you can get these at a significant discount. Plus, you get AI feedback. So let me show you how that works. Any moment. I go to the class. Some of the classes have lots of videos and audios and that kind of thing. It just depends. But we we created these in lessons that are bite-sized lessons so that you could read a lesson in about 15 minutes and immediately focus on that one skill and master it. Now, let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. This one's the high concept process. This is a skill that will change your life. If you don't know how to create high concepts, when you go to market and pitch to producers, if you don't have high concepts, there's a very good chance they're going to be saying no to almost everything you bring in. If you master the high concept process, that means everything you write from now on will be marketable and be very attractive to producers. So this is incredibly valuable. It goes through, it gives the whole model, tells you how to create a high concept exactly. It gives some examples and some different strategies for doing that. We got 4 different ones there. And then it has an assignment at the end. And this assignment, I just did it right before we came in. And it took me, I don't know, 8-10 minutes. It might take you 30 minutes. Who knows? It depends on, how quickly you brainstorm and things like that. But you're going to do the assignment, including answer what I learned doing this assignment is, and then you take this step to get feedback. So you go down here, you click Mark Complete. It'll take a moment. And as soon as we've done that, the lesson 3 now has a blue AI. See, these are green, they're done. This one has a blue AI, so I click that and I fill in my assignment. Now this, by the way, this was the assignment that I just did beforehand with a project idea that I've had. It tells the concept. And then what the assignment asked me to do was give it 4 different versions of possible ways to state that concept. So we're looking for a way to turn it into a high concept. So I wrote the 4 versions, and then I answered what I learned. Once you put that in, you just click Submit. So this now, it'll take a minute. At the bottom of my assignment there now is the answer I gave. So there was my answer right there. It says my feedback's on the way. It'll take a minute or so to show up. We'll see what this is. But again, these assignments are designed so you can do them pretty quickly. Some of them are going to require you write a scene or something like that. Those may take, an hour. It depends on you. They may take less. I told you, I just did this one in about 8 minutes, and here's my feedback. So what did that take? That took about a minute and a half to get the feedback. Now, by the way, if you had just finished this, it's fresh in your mind, right? You just created something. You just had that experience. Now what it's going to do is it's going to tell us what I did well first. So here are the things I did well, and then it's going to give us some ideas for improvement. And here are 5 ideas for improvement on that particular project, what I submitted. The things I did well, my 1-sentence vision, essentially statement. This is my vision for who I am. So I'm articulating this vision up front. I had distinct concept variations. That's important. I didn't just wordsmith them. A lot of people, if you say write 4 different versions of your concept, they will just simply wordsmith them. So I didn't do that. I made sure every one of them were distinct and different. I incorporated the essential elements. Okay, good. I clearly have an understanding of high concept attributes. Yes, that's because I know the lesson really well. If you just read it, you will get that. If you come down to the end of this and that one's in improvement, then that gives you a chance to go back and rethink your understanding. Self-reflection, this was in what I learned. At the end of every one of these, you tell it what you learned. Let's see ideas for improvement. Tightening the high concepts. Yes, I agree. If we go back up here, notice especially like with this one's kind of long. And the problem, if you have something that's long, this one's not bad, but it's close. The longer it is, the more difficult it is to say really in one breath. And you're sitting in front of a producer, you need to be able to whip these off and have them just instantly get it. It looks like I need some clarification on irony. I didn't do a very good job on that one. And that's helpful. I need to focus more on originality. How do I make this more original, different from what we've seen? It's a sci-fi, so obviously it shouldn't look like a Star Trek episode. Maintaining practicality. Consider the practical implications of your concept's scope, such as budget or special effects and that kind of thing. Yeah, the idea that I actually have here is something that would probably be like a $70 million budget. It's sci-fi. And if what you were trying to do was to go to people who are low budget, then this would be really important. So I've got at least 3 of these ideas that could help me improve those concepts. And that came in 1 minute after I did the work. Now, let me tell you something else on this. We've had we have a whole bunch of people who are actually in this right this moment and doing it, but we had about 20 people test it beforehand. And what they told me was really 2 things. They said, first, every single time they gave an answer, it gave them valuable ideas for improvement, and it made them feel good about themselves as a writer. That's incredibly important. Second thing they said was, once they knew that they were going to be able to get feedback 1 minute after finishing what they were writing, it motivated them to make it better and to come up with ideas that worked. And it was an exciting process. They said it motivated them to do more lessons and do them quicker, and to keep learning and growing. So it really truly is a profound experience that you have to try. You have to go through, pick one of these classes and try this. I'm going to make it so easy for you in just a moment. But you have to try this so that you get the experience. What is it like knowing that the moment I'm done writing, I get feedback from someone who is not a critical source? It's not the thing like when your writers groups, very likely, if you've ever had feedback in a writers group, there's always one person there that is trying to take everybody down. And also, there's also a lot of times where you have 5, 6, 7 people giving you ideas on the same thing, and it's overwhelming. Here, it's very precise, it's to the point, and every single time you do this, you're going to feel better about who you are as a writer. Plus, you will get significantly stronger as a writer. You will be thinking at a higher level. You will be creating at a higher level, which is why we did it. This, by the way, is something that took us 3 months working with programmers to design. Nobody else has this. We designed it, and it took a lot of work and a lot of different trial and error to get to this point. But again, you get instant feedback and you improve instantly. So your writing becomes better with every step you take during this process. Now, let me show you just a moment, and I'll take you to what you can do with this. So that's my demo. If you want to get feedback, go to screenplayfeedback.ai. Just write that down and put it in there. If what you'd like to do is to become a great writer, and this is something that we tried to make it as easy as possible, I'll give you this special, and here's what this is. You pick whichever one you want. I'll show you in just a moment, and just go to this link, bit.ly/SM-1-$. No spaces in there, no capitals, just SM-1-$. And what that'll get you is the first week for $1. And we're doing that so that people get a chance to experience what it's like. Because again, until you experience this, you won't know. It's like, it just looks like, oh, look, there's words on a paper. But when you experience it, it's profound. You do 2 or 3 lessons in a row, and maybe over 3 days. Let's say you do 3 lessons over 3 days. By the third one, you are going to feel a change in who you are as a writer. It's this amazing thing that multiple people have told me they've experienced. But I promise you, you will learn more, you will grow faster, you will know if you did it well or didn't. It will highlight the things that you do that are great, and it will point to and give you ideas for the areas that aren't so great that you can improve. Then you pick the best one, you do a quick rewrite, and you move to the next lesson. So this is about mastering professional level screenwriting, and it's about getting instant feedback so you know for sure if what you did was great or not. Now, let me take you over and show you just the page just for a second. Just a moment here. Just a moment. So on this one, the screenwriting mastery one, again, once you go to this page, and it's the bit.ly, I'll give you back in just a moment here. But once you go to this page, just select whichever one you want. If you want to do the 30-day classes, it's over here. If you want to do the more intensive professional level classes that are, let's see, the rewrite program is 10 weeks long. The other classes are 5 and 6 months long, but they will change your life, I promise you. If you want to do those, it's $79 a month, but you can get in for a trial of $1 at the beginning. And if you like it, just stay with us and keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. In my opinion, while most people think that it's just write more scripts, I'm going to tell you, as soon as you start adding in professional level skills, everything changes for you. The scripts you write are significantly better. You get them done faster. You know what you're doing, and you have the confidence to know that you can create something truly great. So it's worth it. Again, all it takes to do this, just go over to this link. So just write that down, bit.ly/SM-$1. And that will get you in for that special. That special, you won't be able to find that at the normal screenwritingmastery.ai. We just put it together for you guys here tonight. So take your choice. Which of these do you need most? Do you need feedback most, or do you need to elevate your skills? Again, if you want to become a great writer, actually, I would use both of them, but this is where I'd go. So listen, I want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I hope this demonstration has made a difference for you. Our objective was to do what we could to make sure that you guys were at the level that you were the best you could be, that you can keep improving, and that you can do it without having to depend upon another human being. You actually can do this and keep learning, keep growing, and then show up at your writers group and be the best writer there. So this gives you all kinds of opportunities. Hey, the last thing I would say on this is, if I was going to workshop a script, like with my writers group, or if I was going to, bring in a group of people to do a read on that script, I would take this through the feedback program immediately, and get feedback and elevate it inside of, you can do one round today, do a rewrite, another round tomorrow, do a rewrite, a third round the next day. And that gets you a script that when the other writers read it, they will be blown away by who you are. If you know a manager wants to work with you, or if you pitched a manager and they need to see something professional, I'd use the same strategy. get feedback, rewrite, get feedback the next day, rewrite, get feedback the next day, rewrite, and now hand that manager a script that is 50 to 100% better in quality. Our whole objective here was to make this so easy for you to become a professional writer. And that's where we're at. So pick the one that's best for you and move forward. I promise you, you're going to absolutely love it. If you don't like it for any reason, we'll give you your money back. If you're doing the $1 special, then you can step out of it at any time and unsubscribe. It's no problem at all. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to be able to make this happen. So with that, it was fun talking with you guys. I hope you absolutely give this a shot and love it. It'll make a huge difference for you. Bye-bye, everyone.